It's your friends Brian McGill, Kyle Howard, Corey Camp, and my new friend Jeff back at you with another What's Up Wednesday here at Sibme. What is up? We got another great What's Up Wednesday show for you today. We've got we actually released a new blog post. Some of the districts that we've been helping for a while are looking at how to create a virtual conference for themselves, similar to the Better Together conference. And here we created a blog post that we can guide you to with some step-by-step ideas to do this, so you can have something to share with your planning committee. If you'd like to talk a little bit more about that, you can connect with Kyle or myself, and we can get you started with a small plan to do that. Obviously, the pricing model is a little bit different, but anyways, we can get this happening for you pretty inexpensive. In fact, we know a lot of people that are saving rent money. You want to save rent money, you want to create a virtual learning environment for your virtual conference inside Sibme this year. And then now we have the main event. We're going to talk a little bit about a new feature for those of you that got goals, want to track goals, want to meet your goals. My new friend Jeff is here to talk to us about the new goal settings here in Sibme. Jeff, welcome to the party. Thanks for coming on.
Brian. It's a great party to be part of, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've we really appreciate your leadership around helping us kind of with the goal modules. We had a lot of people had a lot of ideas, a lot of there's always a lot of wrestling that has to be done when you've got some really like perfect ideas, like in theory and then practice, and then we want to get our technologists to kind of get all those ideas and put this together, and it always needs to be simple. Talk to us about Sibme Goals and why we created this feature.
Yeah, so we've all had experience with goals online, and especially the educators. We know that a lot of the goal systems we've used, you just check done when you either met your goal or you met your action item. And the whole part of the whole foundation of Sibme is that it's a website full of evidence that you've created. And so we wanted to tie the idea of completing an action item with actually giving evidence of what you did to accomplish that goal. And so we kind of married the two ideas of putting together this idea of tracking your goals and your action items, but then being able to tie evidence to show what you actually did. And that can be a video, it can be at Huddle, it could be resources, it could be links to blog posts or Google Docs or rubrics that you've built. But the idea is we're differentiating our goal system by allowing a user to show that they actually met the action item and then completed their goal.
So this is kind of like how we move kind of from like subjective discussion around goals to objective data. And this is kind of like the honor system really for the goals, and actually you can have better discussion around those things. Corey, you got to start taking a look at it. In fact, we're doing our own goals at Sibme. Everybody,
that's exactly right.
Everybody, if you don't have your OKRs in Sibme, all you Sibme folks, get them in there.
Yep.
I'm checking them once. So, Corey, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this goals feature because just like you said, Jeff and Brian, it's about the evidence. It's not just that we checked it off, that it was done, but it's a place in Sibme to connect the evidence from everywhere that you're engaging in the platform, your private, secure workspace, the huddles that you're members of, and outside using those URL links and those resources, anywhere that you might go to accomplish that goal, that blog post that you've read, the video that you watched of somebody's lesson or PLC facilitation in order to gain some insight in how you might improve your own practices. And then the video that you record of you implementing some of those things, all of those can be tied to that goal or those action items. And by the way, it's completely customizable. So we use, as Brian mentioned, we use a framework called OKRs, Objectives and Key Results, here within our Sibme company. So instead of the word goals and action items, we were able to customize the terminology in the platform so it shows up as objectives and key results. So it aligns really nicely with the language we're already using around this goals kind of activity that we do within our platform. So I think it's powerful. I've already started using it to onboard some of our customers, some of our enterprise customers who have a much deeper process because they're looking at how are they changing the processes and services. These are typically our organizations who serve educators and schools. And so they are offering a completely new service, or they're revamping their service utilizing Sibme and video. And so we've got quite a few things that are ducks that we've got to get in a row before they're ready to launch, as opposed to a K-12 school where it's pretty simple. We've got to just determine some visions and then they get right to work. So this has been really nice for me as I work with customers to use this and outline that process for us, and just for them to say, here's the roles and responsibilities that we're thinking about as we roll this service out. Here's how we plan to market those things, and then I can give them feedback all in that space. So Jeff, why don't we show folks a little bit of how this works? What does it look like? How does it function? Do we want to go ahead and show them that?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay.
So yesterday, Corey and I went through and created a couple goals and some action items that we could show y'all. This is kind of the landing screen if you've already created some goals. You can see right here now on our menu bar, we've got a whole goal section. As Corey rename these things, the great thing is this rename. So for us, when we log into our platform, it says objectives. The other thing that we've actually envisioned is that we can actually use this also to build portfolios. And we know some of our higher ed customers are very interested in kind of having a curated overview of what you've accomplished in a semester, and bits and pieces of things that you've grown and learned. And so you could rename this portfolio. And so all those kinds of ideas, it makes it a very flexible tool. But we've got some goals here. With Hamilton being out on Disney Plus, I kind of went with the whole revamp the Constitution unit. Now that I may be having to teach from home, and so I created this goal. And you can see over here that there are about 8 owners of this goal. And so what this meant is we gave this goal to 8 individuals. But then you notice up here that we have a template, and then we also have group goals. So if you wanted to do a goal with, say, your department or your grade level, you could do that, and everybody would be working on it together. But this is an individual goal given to 8 people. And so when I click on this, you're going to see the fact that we've got these 8 people listed right here. And you notice at the bottom, I'm involved in this goal. And so what we would do is we would click on this. You notice our status is 0, so we've not done any work on this goal. But when I click on this goal, I kind of get my status and how I can begin to work on it. And here's the action items we came up with. And you notice this is kind of progressive. Review, create a draft, identify collaborators, and then review the unit after you've done it. And so we've created this review the lesson. We've given it a little description. I have a spot to reflect when I'm done, which becomes key in a minute when we talk about reviewers. But over here is where I can do the evidence. And so if I click on this, you notice I wanted to be able to add a huddle. And so I click on this, and this gives me all the huddles that I'm involved in. On this one, I'm only involved in one. So I can add that huddle, and then it appears. If people are collaborating with me, now they can go in and see, hey, what did he post? What are we doing? What are we working on? What did he grow with? And all of that. When I'm done with this, then I can type in a reflection on this. So this is review the live lesson. So lessons learned, ... I can put those in, and I can save it. And then when I click action item done, that notifies my reviewer that I've completed this action item, and they can go in then and review my evidence. Did my evidence kind of match what I said I was trying to accomplish with this action item? And if so, they can give feedback that I would see here. And so it's a great process to keep that conversation around the evidence and the action item. And that evidence going back and forth and that conversation going back between you and a reviewer makes it really powerful to keep the conversation going. You saw also that and so if I check this, notice also my status changes. And that's really good for that overview. Or if you're a manager or managing a bunch of people, you can see who's been working on them, who hasn't, with the one-stop shop. When I go back to my listing then, and I click over here, you'll see now that I'm 20% done with this goal. And everybody else is working right here. This template then is something that we could then create and then give as needed to different people. And so if we click on this, you'll know that I've already got the goal with some action items already created. So when say, we're ready to do a lesson study, if I'm a principal, I can give that to different groups when they're ready to do a lesson study. And so the idea then is that I can reuse this very easily to keep it going and to keep using those goals.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. So I want to add a couple of clarifying points. There's different types of goals you can create. Individual goals, which can be assigned to multiple individuals, like we saw in the Revamp the Constitution unit. That and Jeff and I talked about it. We were like, as we create this sample goal, should this be a group goal or should this be an individual goal? And we kind of decided that the scenario was that we've got a team of social studies educators who, while they're going to be collaborating with each other to revamp the Constitution unit, they aren't all using the exact same unit. They're all responsible ultimately for creating their own lesson plan unique to their students. So that was an individual goal. However, if they were like the lesson study template example, that's a whole collective of educators coming together to identify maybe a problem of practice and to work towards creating and fine-tuning a specific lesson. And so that's a little bit more for a group goal, or maybe this is a team, an ELA team who's looking at raising the scores of their students across the grade level. No one teacher can do that for the whole grade level. It's a team effort. So we've got group goals. Account goals are really great for like your K-12 or your school-wide goals where you've got a campus improvement plan or everybody is focusing on culturally responsive education and diversity. And so you might create an account goal that is automatically given to every single individual on your campus in that account. And then templates are great for those processes that you would repeat, maybe with different cohorts, like the new teacher induction program, that you would have a new cohort every year, or lesson studies. I facilitate lesson studies on my campus, and I get a new cycle of lesson study groups that I work with often, and I can just take that whole process that's outlined in that template. I can modify it specifically to the group once I decide to use it, and then there's less things that I have to do with it. So I think that's important to know. And then I think it's also important to know that you can either own a goal or you can be a collaborator on an individual's goal, meaning I'm able to, maybe I just, as a collaborator, I can just view Kyle can just view this goal of mine. Or maybe I want him to be able to work with me and edit on that because he's coaching me. Or he maybe can also help add evidence towards my goal, or he's maybe my reviewer, or he could be all of these things. So you can have multiple collaborator roles in there, and a reviewer's role can be simply just to give feedback, or it could be, if you're using this a little bit more like a performance task, where they can say, oh, it looks like you're missing a piece from your portfolio. The evidence here, I'm going to uncheck your action item. If you can upload your evidence, and then you can check it done again. So this is super flexible for lots and lots of different people. Kelly Pittman's watching, and she says, I like the reflection feature, so important. And evidence makes it objective as well. We really do want this to be evidence of impact, right? These goals, we have goals because we want to make a difference and an impact, and adding that evidence feature and that reflection box, I think allows us to make this much more meaningful and really be able to see that evidence of impact. So I'm so excited about these goals. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, one of the other things that we added into the action item side is the ability to also measure quantifiable measurements and movements. And so it might be, I want to make sure that I read 2 books every day to my classes if I'm a kindergarten teacher. And so I put in that I want to read over a semester, I want to read 30 books. So I start at 0 and I have 30 as my goal. And as I move through the semester or through the month, I can quantifiably put in, I want to, I'm at 24 and then I'm at 28. And then if I get to 32, I can put, hopefully we're getting that where we can put 32 and over reach our goal. But we have that measurement both as count and percentage. And so I want to increase as a principal, I want to increase attendance, 20%. Or whatever. And so that measurement as well as that evidence. So you might then attach, we increased it 25%, and then I attach my attendance logs so that I get both that concrete evidence with that quantifiable number to kind of help us show that we met our goal.
Yeah. And how perfect is it for our coaching, right? That's a lot of our individuals and our organizations use Sibme for coaching work. And most of your coaching is driven by goals. So you're working alongside a teacher, helping them increase the students' opportunities to respond or increase their wait time. And so those are all things that you have those quantifiable kind of criteria, and you can add that and measure progress along the way and then mark it complete whenever you've met your goal or reached the end. So I think that's really awesome. Yep. Kyle, what are you thinking?
This definitely is an awesome tool, and especially when you're putting forth any goal, it's like almost like putting up a vision board, for educators, but also not only that, allow them to measure, but also show evidence. And Corey showed a great example, just showing how we actually practice what we preach with utilizing Sibme, with using our own goal features. And Jeff, you mentioned earlier speaking to higher ed, and I'm having conversations with other instructional coaches, and then also some principals out there who are really excited about this goal setting features that we're rolling out. So if you could, Jeff, can you who can use this goal setting feature?
Yeah, the great thing about this is as Kyle, you said, we are using it as a company. And so we definitely believe the fact that that OKRs or those quarterly measurements work for a company, but then for K-12 schools, this was what it was designed for. We had some educators review the plans as we went through and gave us great feedback. And so this was designed by educators in the schools who were using other goal platforms, who were looking for more from their goals platform. And so there's no doubt that K-12 schools, whether that's an elementary, a middle, an upper school, or a private K-12 school, or a pre-K-12 school, this is right in your wheelhouse, because this really sticks well with what we're trying to accomplish as educators, and having that conversation with our department head, our division head, our superintendent, our assistant principal, whoever that is. This allows you to have a meaningful conversation around that, which is everything Sibme's about. And then that higher ed piece that we've been talking about, definitely, whether it's a portfolio or whether it's, kind of taking that assignment to the next level, breaking it into pieces so that you can scaffold what you're asking your students to do. That's all kind of there for the higher eds. I really do, you hate harping on it, but the thing that's great about our goals platform is the fact that it's so flexible, and that it really can match a bunch of needs. We're not asking you to do it one way. We want to help you do it your way. And we're going to work together to try to make sure that what we accomplish with the goals platform is something that best benefits you, to make your school better, or your corporation.
I can see this being a huge tool for coaches that are district coaches, and that role is constantly needing to show evidence of impact.
Mhm.
Okay. Imagine being able to sit down with your director or somebody above you and just say, hey, just show me what the heck is coaching doing in this, what you're doing for coaching in this district at your mid-year review or whatever. And you're like, well, look at all these teachers I've been working with in Sibme. Okay. And these are all the goals we've accomplished in the first semester. The conversation's over because you've shown all the impact that you've made and you have all the data and you didn't have to do anything extra except do your work in Sydney.
Right.
So it's just adds a lot of efficiency and also helps you with the critical conversations you'll need to have in your program.
Yeah, that's a great point, Brian.
Yeah.
We have a couple of corporate partners that does coaching that is really excited about this goals platform. And so, you're exactly right that virtual coaching, especially now that it's all got to be virtual, this is going to be a great way to manage that process for a virtual coach, and then be able to give back to whether it's the school or the school board or whoever that you're working for, that we've made some significant strides with the people that we've been coaching.
Yeah, and I think if you add the goals feature and the way that you're able to track and even have that evidence collected in one spot with our analytics feature, especially if you're using frameworks tags or even using full rubrics within that, you can add those data points together and have a really strong case for your evidence of impact. So I think that's super powerful. And yeah, we've a lot of our folks who we've talked to and were part of the building process, helping us make decisions on how it would function, the flexibility it needed. We're excited about this, not just for the individuals they serve or their teachers, coaches using it with teachers, but coaches using it as learning teams, coaching new coaches, using this to onboard new staff members. We think about we're starting online this school year. Many schools are starting virtual and they've got new staff members. And how do we do that orientation and get everybody up to speed on all the things they need to know? How do I help teachers take small bites, manageable bite-sized chunks as they begin to transition their classrooms online in a more permanent, intentional way than we had during crisis teaching back in March? And so I think this is a really great way to outline a process, add those goals and those small steps that we can take along the way. And it's all, you can edit it as you go. So as you decide, well, we thought this was the next best step, but actually we need to do something here just before that, then you can add that in as you get going and have everything all marked there. So I think it's just a really powerful tool. And Kelly says powerful for coaching, definitely a great way to chase down those critical conversations. That's a great way to put it. I just think it's going to be really transformational for a lot of our organizations, regardless of whether you're educational or corporate, K-12, higher ed, whatever it is. I think it can fit you.
Well, and the great thing with tying into the huddles and the conversations that you're having there, that takes that formative and kind of gives you the summative with the goals. And so now we've kind of completed that package of, having the conversations in the weeds and what am I learning and what am I working on and what went well and what didn't go well. And that's probably more important. What didn't go well and what can I do to do it differently and change? And then turning right around and showing that growth, I think is so important. And it really is what this is built upon, is to take those conversations in the huddles, those rich conversations around practice and teaching and learning, and then applying it to what I'm growing as a teacher or what I'm growing as an individual as. So to me, it's a great kind of completion of the process that we've kind of been doing at Sibme for a while now. And we're really excited. We all keep saying we're really excited, but we're really excited about this because it really is a great tool. And now that we've been using it, it's been fun to pull out all those things that were like, oh wow, that we didn't know that really worked this way, and that's really cool. So it really is kind of an exciting piece of the puzzle for us.
Yeah, it really does feel like it's that maybe not the last, but
right.
it's one of the
we
last.
don't want to ever say the last.
It's never done. Never done. Even now we're like, okay, in version 2.0.
Right. I've got my 2.0 list that people have been adding to as they've gotten into it. Hey, what can we do this? Can we do that?
What if it did this? Yeah.
We're going to add it to the list. So thanks.
Constantly iterating, for sure.
The answer to that is yes, almost.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. That's right. We're going to get to it. That's right.
Yeah.
So all of you existing partners, everybody that's already Sibme subscribers, when you do your onboard meeting with customer success this year, make sure you ask for this feature. And if you need a consultation on how to use this, an existing process, we can help you with that.
Yep.
Corey will help you with that. Jenny can help you with that. Jeff can help you with that.
That's exactly
For those of you that are trialing Sibme or thinking about trialing Sibme, when you sign up for your trial, schedule a demonstration of Sibme with you and your cross-functional team, because Kyle and I will show you how to use goals in your demonstration, and you can decide whether you want that turned on in your trial account. I don't think that shows up for you right away. And
so Brian, you bring up a great point. I was thinking about it, mentioning it earlier. Corey, one of our things Corey and I are going to start working on in August is actually through those trial accounts. Part of how you're going to learn how to use Sibme is going to be using goals.
Okay.
And we're going to give you a goal and some action items, and it's going to be, download the mobile app, record your first video, but you're going to then be able to tag and tie in those things that you've done so that you can learn not only goals, but you're going to be learning the platform itself. And so that's coming. It's not available yet, but you can see how we as a company are using goals all over the place. And that it's really exciting that it meets all these different needs. So Brian, you hit upon it that we'll teach you goals, but then it'll allow you to then learn the platform as well.
The guided trial checklist has moved into goals. I like it.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
It definitely has.
So,
yeah. Well, and like you mentioned, Brian, as Jenny Selfridge, our lead customer success manager, she meets with all of our customers at the beginning of the year just to make sure we're good to go for that school year for everybody. If you don't have that meeting yet scheduled, get it on the books, reach out to Jenny or your account executive, and we can make sure we get that started. But this will be one of the things that she will go over with you. You may not see it yet in your account. We're actually turning it on one by one for folks. So if you want to get to the front of the list and you want it right away, then let us know and we can put you at the top of the list. Otherwise, we're kind of, I don't know if we're going alphabetically or from the first account ever created to the newest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we're doing it, but we are rolling it out. But if you want it,
should have a goal for it.
You don't see goals in your menu, then you just ask, and we can check that box and get you going. And the great thing, and we're not showing it because it's in the weeds, but there's a lot of settings that you can go through. And that's why we would love to talk to you about, if you're going to use goals, what's your your idea, your goal of your goals? What are you going to use this for? Because then we can help you kind of get your account settings and your things going so that when you release it to your faculty or to your employees, you're ready to go.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, it's time for final thoughts, and then we got to say goodbye to everybody. Who has some final thoughts on goals before for the end of this?
I think they can, just like our title, they can help you do more. What do you think, Kyle?
Well, I just want to talk about the power of building these goals, that meeting, just like how we're meeting with the touch point with Jenny, getting these feedback from educators, instructional coaches, and realizing that, hey, this is going to be a powerful tool rolling out for you. This is what was requested, and we're giving the people what they wanted. And this is something that we can really be excited about.
Yeah.
That's a great edit. I don't think I could do it better than Kyle.
Well, awesome. Well, I want to invite everyone to join us next week when we have one of our favorite administrators. She's the author of our brand new course, Hitting Your Dashboard in the Learning Center, in just a couple of weeks. It's the Calibrating Your Leadership Team with Video, and no better person knows about that than Dr. Tanya Gorey. So she's joining us next week to talk a little bit about leadership calibration with instructional coaches and the rest of your leadership team, a little bit about what you can expect from this course that's going to be dropping in a couple of weeks. And so we invite you to join us. All right, guys.
Sit down with the doctor.
That's
See you
right.
soon. See you next week.
See you later.
Adios, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank y'all.